Wonderful day to everyone. We are about to embark on a journey of technological history and innovation, their benefits and disadvantages, and life-saving discoveries that we may be able to savor in the near future. You're watching Engineering Through Time. This presentation brought to you by Group 10 is our group project in Mapua University's Introduction to Electronics Engineering. Today, we are joined by our hosts, Erica Aguandan, Jordan Borlongan, Christine May Sabiniano, and yours truly, David Pachon. Our talk will comprise the answers and explanations to the following pointers. First, we have products and services that are now available but were not available before, as well as their advantages, disadvantages, and features. Secondly, we're going to discuss what we can expect to see in the future with regards to electronics innovation and technology. And lastly, what we can hope to contribute to society's advancement for increased convenience and modern lifestyles. We hope you gain insights from this video. Enjoy!
QR codes are a type of barcodes which can be easily read by scanning. It is depicted as a white box with a series of pixels in a grid. QR codes were not just recently made. QR codes first came to be in 1994 by DensoWave and Toyota in order to track vehicles. Nowadays, QR codes aren't just used for tracking vehicles. It tracks products, can be used to help track down those who are infected with the virus, and can even store personal information within that one box. A card that resembles a credit card but is actually not a credit card is the reloadable contactless smart card. A contactless smart card has an embedded smart card secure microcontroller, internal memory, and a small antenna. To be used, you just simply connect or tap the card onto the reader to get your transaction going. One example of this is the beep card that is commonly used with public transportations such as the LRT and the MRT. You can also use the beep card to pay on convenience stores like 7-Eleven and Family Mart. Now, the beep card first came to be on the year 2015 in order to replace the magnetic card key system in paying for transportation fares within Metro Manila. However, if you want to trace back when the contactless smart card was first used, we can trace it back into the year 1995 in Seoul, South Korea. Since then, the use of smart cards, or contactless smart cards rather, has emerged globally. Virtual reality, or what we commonly call as VR, existed way long ago and has only gained tremendous popularity recently. But first, what is VR? VR, or virtual reality, according to Iberdrola, is an environment that is computer-generated with various scenes and objects that seem real, which makes the users feel that they are actually in that specific area which the device is showing. The first time virtual reality was used was in the 1950s. It was called HMD, or head-mounted display. With the continuous improvement of technology over time, virtual reality evolved. It also has a history of being used for training in the US military back in the 1980s. Nowadays, the VR that we know is the one that is PC connected and with time became mobile tethered.
Medical applications. One of the presently available products that we employ under the field of medicine is augmented and virtual reality technologies, also known as AR and VR. This incorporates a device that is in the form of goggles, which can be worn by the user to see simulations of three-dimensional figures. This can come in two forms. The first being virtual reality, which consists of a completely generated world with interactive objects that exist within the device's memory, and the second being augmented reality, which integrates real-world images with 3D rendered objects. Both can be beneficial in the strand of nursing and medicine in the following ways. First, surgeons and medical students use this to simulate operations that cannot be practiced to actual patients, allowing for higher chances of smooth executions and successful and safe operations. Secondly is the fact that medical professionals or students used to use potentially harmful or scarce resources such as an organic cadaver. Using digital recreations to simulate these experiences increases the accessibility to this rare sort of education and enhances safety. The only potential compromise here is the fact that simulations can only emulate reality so well. It can certainly introduce practitioners to the tone of the environment they should expect in a surgery room or other facility, but more preparation would be appropriate. Robotics. Robotics can have a variety of applications in medicine, such as improved control for extremely intricate procedures. This provides the same type of benefits observed in AR and VR in their treatment applications. Consumer products. The first is wearable devices. Society back then used to employ mechanically operated devices for watches, but this has apparently changed with the advent of modern electronic watches. An example of this may be seen on your screen now. An Apple Watch. It is capable of monitoring fitness, tracking your location with a global positioning system, and even view text messages among its other functions, which can definitely be plentiful since there are a variety of applications, especially professionals that develop them. Although, it does come with the caveat of a short battery life due to its compact form factor, so you won't be able to wear it for extended periods of time. Next is electric vehicles. It's been too long that we've been dependent on fossil fuels such as coal and petroleum, and we have never really had a pragmatic solution to its effects to the environment. It can be very destructive to nature, to say the least, but it is only until the introduction of electronic vehicles that we were able to start mending these wounds. An example of a company that provides this automobile is Tesla, which is currently headed by entrepreneur Elon Musk. The first advantage to this is obviously the elimination of gasoline's necessity, which has great implications towards a healthy and cleaner environment. Lastly, for the series of products, we have wireless charging. Have you ever been frustrated of the nuisance of having to plug and unplug your device from the power outlet? I'm sure most people have. Here, we've been reminded by the fact that necessity is the mother of inventions, as we've been introduced to wireless charging. It doesn't only make that process extinct, it could also improve the lifespan and structural integrity of your device because of the absence of the wearing and tearing that cables tend to cause. Industrial applications. Something that's already been mentioned. Augmented reality brings even more applications outside of the field of medicine. It can also be used for industrial design and architecture, as it allows users to superimpose 3D figures that represent objects that we plan to place on a particular structure. These can include furniture planning, 3D visualization of infrastructure for a more immersive experience, and a three-dimensional perspective for modeling. CAD, formerly executed through manual drafting, computer-aided design software allows architects, engineers, and drafters to visualize their different infrastructure, electronics, or products in an exponentially more efficient and effective way. A typical provider of these professional software applications is Autodesk, a company that brought AutoCAD, Revit, Maya, and Fusion 360 to our screens. Also, under the subcategory of industrial applications, AI will also enable constructing AI and machine learning platforms for more complex and capable equipment, crafting complicated algorithms for data analysis, developing new codes for enhancing current code, and processing images, which is under big data. As for transportation, we have Japan's magnetic rails in the present. We know that this method of transportation brings upon an absurd amount of speed since it basically eliminates the friction between the railings and the train itself.
In addition to the products mentioned, we now also have a Wi-Fi, a wireless technology that allows us to connect several computers, laptops, and mobile phones to the internet. It enables us to reach and contact a person across the globe without making any physical contact. Wireless gadgets such as earphones, wireless keyboards, and mouse now also come into existence. Now, working around with technology is made easier as dealing with cables were lessened. Cashless payments also made the lives of many more manageable. Examples of these are ATM online banking, GCash, PayMaya, and others. With just one tap, you can easily buy food, Book a taxi and pay your bills. Flat screen television is another example of machinery that already exists before but later improved in the present. If we compare, the old television or the cathode ray tube are only limited to a specific color display, such as black and white. With flat screens, we can now watch our favorite movie in different vibrant colors. The emergence of handheld iron steamers is also helpful. It can reach the edges and easily remove the wrinkles of a fabric. It is much more lightweight and space saver compared to the old irons, where a sturdy ironing board is necessary. It also prevents us from having accidents, such as burning the clothes, as the iron steamer uses hot steam only without direct contact with the fabrics.
Compared to current times, LCDs of the past were far less capable in generating text, numbers, or images. The first LCDs, or liquid color displays, were successfully produced in the 1960s. Though once an extremely expensive process, by the 1970s and 80s, it became feasible enough to develop this technology. Out of this, some monochrome and color variants were limited to displaying numerical or alphabetical systems and are also confined to small sizes. As time went on, improved types of panels were introduced, bringing more utility to users as of today. IPS LCDs or in-plane switching, for example, based on a modified version of TFT, brought more to the table by providing qualities such as accuracy of colors, image quality, and viewing angles. Similarly, OLED or organic light emitting diode LCDs presents greater color accuracy, power efficiency, and durability compared to past technologies. Batteries have taken many forms in everyday use. They drive objects as simple as a clock or as complex as an automobile. As malleable as batteries are, they weren't always the same over the past decades. Back then, batteries took many forms and compositions. This might be familiar as they are commonly referred to as nickel-cadmium, lead-acid, alkalines, or button cell batteries. While they have been adequate for powering devices of the time, the rapid development of technologies, especially portable devices, necessitated a dense and powerful battery medium that was also light in weight. There weren't any options that provided all of these factors. This is where lithium-ion batteries come into play. Invented in 1980 by John Goodenough, their qualities match the needs of the devices with the addition of having a long life. The battery is comprised of an anode and a cathode, which lithium ions from the anode transfer into the cathode, and when they transfer into the cathode, they discharge back to the anode, generating the electricity. Today, they are the most popular battery type of rechargeable kind and has found its way in smart devices, laptops, power tools, remote control vehicles, and electric vehicles. In the past, one of the only safety devices that came with cars is the seatbelt. Today, there are many safety mechanisms and devices built inside a vehicle working to create a safer environment in times of accidents. One of these innovations is the airbag. Developed in the 1960s by Allen Boyd, it is an inflatable type of nylon bag that functions by sending a sudden expansion and deflation towards a person whenever a crash occurs. It acts as a cushion to make serious, life-threatening injuries to be less likely. To activate this device, either a mechanical, electrical, or electronic sensor detects when a crash occurs and quickly sends a signal in order to activate the airbag. Due to the effectiveness of this device, it is currently installed in many modern vehicles.
Let's move on to the anticipated products of the future. What services can we expect? Another idea that we're going to be exploring is the use of quadcopters, otherwise known as drones. It is used for cinematic shots in movies, but its potentials can reach far and wide to logistics, numbers, costs, and systematic deliveries. In the near future, we can expect Lazada or other e-commerce platforms like Amazon to be delivering their products on air. Next up is emergency deliveries, which will, as you can deduce, override traffic entirely, which is a great, even life-saving solution sometimes. Lastly, we can expect something about space travel and intergalactic. Well, maybe it's not intergalactic, but interplanetary. But now we're extending towards the other planet, the real one, because Moon technically isn't a planet if you count it as a small satellite, but Mars is, and it's exactly what Elon Musk is aiming to go towards. He's very optimistic about interplanetary space travel, perhaps to save humanity, most probably not in the near future because we're not going to be extinct anytime soon, but it does have a lot of potential in terms of academic findings and researches, breakthroughs in science that we did not expect to be possible.
It is also not far from the future, the start of the creation of pod taxis, which will soon dominate the world in transportation means. These are ropeway connected, driverless pods which can highly reduce our traffic and road accidents problems. With wireless electricity, it can make the lives of everyone easy. It can transfer power without cables attached to it. It can be possible by putting a magnetic field in the system and bringing a device near it. Research shows that a light bulb can light up without any cords attaching to it, just the presence of a magnetic field. Edible food wrappers can also save our problems with the production of much plastic waste, which can cause adverse effect to our environment. This product can protect the goods inside of it, also providing us nutritional benefits without waste.
One of the possible norm for the future is artificial eyes. Bionic eyes is something that has been only thought of in fiction for years, but now it has graced the world with its presence. Year 2021 in January, Israeli surgeons were able to successfully implant the world's first artificial cornea on a 70-year-old man. Researchers from various parts of the world are continuously making involvements on the future of artificial organs. The engineering discipline here is biomedical engineering, for biomedical engineers are involved in anything related to bio and any medical concepts.
What do we expect batteries in the future to be like? Well, today, numerous compositions are being studied, and one of which are graphite-based batteries. This material is seen as a suitable structure since it offers significant weight reduction, greater conductivity, less volatility to current batteries like lithium-ion, while maintaining the same performance as them. In addition, due to its flexibility, it is a promising material for batteries for folding devices. Even adding sheets of this stuff to other batteries like aluminum ion can make it help last hundreds of thousands of cycles at extreme temperatures. Through applying electronic and chemical engineering fields, I think we can see them sometime soon. In the case of airbags, what does the future look like for them? Enter wearable airbags. Although there are some products that feature it, they're still a long development before they are widely adopted. Some of the technology takes shape in the form of helmet airbags and hip airbags. Helmet airbags are useful in two-wheeled vehicles since they are prone to accidents and thus also have head injuries. Hip airbags, on the other hand, are catered towards elderly users since they are vulnerable to falls and getting broken bones. By designing an effective airbag, as well as a fast reacting sensor to go with it, these types of injuries will reduce serious complications from these types of accidents. To move forward, it is going to include mechanical, electrical, and electronics engineering. How can LCD technology be improved? As of now, technologies are being developed to further enhance the viewing experience of these screens. Micro LED, for example, supplements current LCDs by being the backlight that is able to reproduce clearer colors, more defined black levels, and more accurate lighting. Another example is quantum dots. They also provide great color accuracy and quality with the addition of consuming less energy, resulting in a more efficient panel. To further enhance these LCDs, the manufacturing part will be dealt with as it is a challenge to produce them currently. These fields would include electrical, electronics, and chemical engineering.
As for my case, in pursuit not only of certifications and licenses, but also to become a fundamentally changed member of the scientific community and an improved person overall, I will not hold back on toiling and helping to keep pushing borders of technology, science, and innovation for the convenience of all. In order to achieve this, I've settled on these long-term objectives. First is to study the field of computational information systems and networking. With the education and experience I would have gained from this course, I would use it to support and heighten the standards of society and of the country under this field. Next is to integrate these interests with my engrossment to scripting, automation, and formal languages to further computational efficiency under the advent of big data systems. However, having said these, I've also resolved not to be restricted to a particular area of study to have an optimally auspicious chance at having significant contributions to society.
If I were to become a successful engineer someday, I could contribute and create innovations to make living more efficient. I would research and focus on what needs more improvement in our daily lives, and I will apply the principles I have gained to solve those problems. I will explore the boundless power of technology to improve and provide products in the future.
Thank you for listening to our discussion, Engineering Through Time, where we discussed historical, present, and anticipated technologies. Once again, this has been your host, David Pashon, along with my peers, Erica, Jordan, and Christine, saying, innovation is not born from the dream, innovation is born from the struggle. Great thanks and adieu.